Ava Sinclair stepped off the dusty bus in Ridgewood, Montana, tightly holding a contract for the secret author with determination. She had spent years devouring every word J.M. Ryder ever wrote, and now she would finally meet him. The late afternoon sun painted the mountains gold as she walked toward the only bed and breakfast in town. Inside, the kindly owner greeted her warmly, but became strangely quiet when she mentioned the author's name. Everyone in Ridgewood seemed to know a secret they were fiercely protecting, and it only made her curiosity burn brighter. After settling in, she decided to explore the winding dirt road that led toward the sprawling Silver Creek Ranch. There, she saw a man repairing a fence, his shoulders strong and his movements calm and utterly unhurried. He looked up, and the bluest eyes she had ever seen locked onto hers, stealing her breath instantly. She introduced herself, and he simply smiled, tipping his worn hat before saying his name was Jake. He offered to show her around the property, and something in his steady presence made her trust him completely. Over the following days, Jake taught her how to ride and shared stories beneath a sky overflowing with stars. She found herself telling him about the anonymous author whose books had carried her through her darkest years. She confessed that Ryder's words taught her that real love should always feel safe, honest, and deeply seen. Jake listened without speaking, his jaw tight and his eyes glossy as he absorbed every single vulnerable word. One evening, a sudden storm trapped them in a small cabin, and they huddled near a crackling stone fireplace. He wrapped a thick wool blanket around her shoulders, and his fingers lingered gently against the curve of her neck. She looked at him then with all the longing she had never dared to voice, and he whispered her name. He told her she was the most beautiful story he had ever encountered, and she felt her heart completely unravel. They kissed slowly, like two people rediscovering a home they never knew they had been searching for all along. Afterward, she knew she was falling in love with a quiet cowboy who understood the deepest corners of her soul. But the looming deadline for the J.M. Ryder contract weighed on her, and she still had found no trace of him. One afternoon, she wandered into Jake's private cabin to return a book he had lent her the night before. On his desk, she saw a stack of handwritten pages covered in the exact lyrical voice she recognized instantly. Scenes of aching tenderness and raw vulnerability that matched the style of the anonymous author she had studied for years. Her hands trembled as she realized the truth she had been too blinded by love to properly see until now. When Jake walked in and saw her holding the manuscript, his face crumbled into an expression of quiet surrender. She asked him if it was really him, and he nodded slowly, his voice breaking on every single halting syllable. He explained that he wrote those books after losing his first love, needing to believe romance could still exist. He never wanted fame because the words were his private way of healing, not a performance for the entire world. He had been terrified to reveal himself and risk losing the only woman who had ever truly seen the real him. Tears streamed down her face as she stepped closer and told him that his books had saved her life twice. She confessed that his honest depiction of love gave her the courage to leave a relationship that broke her spirit. He cupped her face and swore he would spend the rest of his life proving that she deserved every beautiful word. They stayed wrapped together until sunrise, exchanging whispers and promises as the fear between them completely dissolved. In the morning, she called her publishing house and arranged a video call with Jake seated right beside her. He introduced himself as J.M. Ryder, and the literary world erupted with joy at the gentle cowboy's true identity. Ava chose to stay in Montana, opening a small editorial office in town so she could build a life there. Jake published a new novel dedicated to her, filled with the kind of love they had fought to protect together. On a crisp autumn afternoon, he knelt beneath the same cottonwood tree where they had shared their first real kiss. He offered her a simple ring and a vow to be her safe place, her greatest fan, and her forever. She said yes with laughter and tears as the entire town celebrated the union that began with a hidden pen. Their story spread far and wide, reminding millions that real love writes itself when two honest hearts collide. And every night, Jake would read her a single handwritten page, just as he had done in his solitude. Now, she was the first to hear every word, the living proof that his healing had become something eternal. They grew old on that ranch, their love deepening like the roots of the century-old oaks surrounding their home. Long after the bestsellers faded, their quiet devotion remained the one love story that truly never needed an ending. Ava often traced the lines on his palm and whispered that she found the author of her heart that very first day. He would reply that she was the only muse who ever mattered, his dream written not in ink but in flesh. Their children learned that honesty and tenderness could build a legacy far stronger than any secret identity ever could. And when they sat on the porch in their final years, holding hands, the world outside simply fell completely away. Ava turned to him one soft evening and said she was grateful he had been brave enough to love her out loud. He kissed her weathered knuckles and replied that writing their story together had always been his proudest, most sacred chapter.